Beaumont's average home price hit $582,000 this year, up more than 9% in 12 months. 15 minutes down the highway, Leduc's average is sitting closer to 440,000. Same county, same commute, same schools you can cross into. $140,000 difference. So which one do you actually buy in? That's what the next 16 minutes are for. What's going on, everybody? Dane Phaneuf here with the Haupt Phaneuf real estate team at eXp Realty, and we've spent years walking buyers through Leduc, Beaumont, and Leduc County. This is the 2026 version of this video. Everything is current: the population numbers, the market data, the school announcements, the airport expansion, the tax rates, not the 2021 census that half the internet is still quoting. We're covering what these two cities actually are: the commute, the jobs, real housing prices, the true cost of living, schools, recreation, the weather, and then a section most agents won't film: the honest downsides. And at the end, I'll tell you flat out which city fits which kind of buyer. First, let's clear something up because people mix this up constantly. Leduc and Beaumont are two separate cities. They both sit inside the Leduc County region, south of Edmonton, but they are not the same place. They don't share a council and they don't share a tax rate. Leduc is the bigger one. Its last municipal census put it at just over 36,000, and provincial estimates now have it pushing 40,000, or roughly 17% growth in 5 years. Beaumont is smaller but growing faster, around 26,000 people, up nearly 28% in 5 years. In 2025, it was the fastest growing municipality in the entire Edmonton metro region, and one of the fastest in Alberta. Add in Leduc County itself, about 16,400 people, and you're looking at a region of more than 80,000. Here's the character difference in one line. Leduc is a working city built around an airport and an industrial park. Beaumont is an officially bilingual Franco-Albertan community built around a walkable downtown. That difference shows up in everything, including your mortgage, and it starts with where they sit on the map. Let's talk commute, because for most of you, this is the deciding factor. Leduc sits about 33 kilometers south of Edmonton, directly on the QEII Highway 2. That's a divided freeway the whole way. South Edmonton and the Anthony Henday Ring Road are 15 to 20 minutes in normal conditions. And here's Leduc's unfair advantage. The Edmonton International Airport is 8 to 12 minutes from Leduc's east side. If you or your spouse work in aviation, that is genuinely unbeatable anywhere in the Edmonton region. Beaumont sits about 28 kilometers from downtown Edmonton, but it comes at it from a different angle. Highway 814, which is 50th Street plus Highway 625 and the Henday. Realistically, 28 to 32 minutes off peak, 40 to 55 in a real rush hour. That 50th Street corridor is the pinch point, and I'll come back to it in the realities section. Transit exists, and it's better than people expect. Leduc Transit runs on-demand local service from 4:45 in the morning until 11 at night. Route 1 connects to Century Park LRT, and Route 10 runs out to Nisku, the outlet mall, and the airport. Beaumont's Route 540 runs to Millwoods Transit Center, where you pick up the Valley Line Southeast LRT straight into downtown. Is it car optional? For most families, no. It's a car region. But if you're a single vehicle household, it's workable. Now, a lot of people move here and never commute to Edmonton at all. Here's why. The Edmonton International Airport is the largest airport in Canada by land mass, 7,000 acres. Roughly 7.9 million passengers moved through it in 2024, and its total economic output is around $5.3 billion. But the story right now isn't passengers, it's cargo. In May of 2026, they broke ground on the International Cargo Hub. Phase 1 is a $300 million project, $100 million of that from the federal government, beginning development on 2,000 acres. That is a long-term jobs engine sitting directly beside these two cities. Warehousing, logistics, cross-docking, bonded facilities. Then there's Nisku Business Park, energy services, manufacturing, logistics. Amazon's million-square-foot fulfillment center with 600 plus employees. A growing food processing cluster anchored by the Alberta Food Processing Development Center right in Leduc, which has been helping companies bring products to market for over 40 years. And in July of 2026, Leduc County signed a memorandum of understanding with Sturgeon County, Cold Lake, and the Airport Authority to develop aerospace and defense in the region. Translation: this isn't a bedroom community that empties out at 8 in the morning. Thousands of people who live here also work here, which brings us to the number you actually clicked for. Let's do real numbers and let's start with context. Across the greater Edmonton area in 2026, the average selling price across all residential types has been running around $483,000, up about 4% year over year. Inventory is up more than 20%, and the Bank of Canada has been holding its policy rate at 2.25. What that means for you, this is a balanced market. You have choice, you have inspection time, you are not writing panic offers over asking like you were 2 years ago. Leduc, the all property average has been sitting in the mid 440s. Detached homes in established neighborhoods, Suntree, Meadowview Park, West Haven, generally run 380 to 520,000. Executive homes in Blackstone and the premium pockets push past 600 and into the 900s. Duplexes and townhomes across Southfork, West Haven, and Robinson land roughly 320 to 380, and most of those are 3-bed, 3-bath, over 1,500 square feet. And Leduc's real value story is the entry level. Apartment condos in older Alexandra Park buildings start around $149,000 for a one-bedroom. The townhome benchmark is around $272,000. Beaumont, different market entirely. The average sale price hit $582,000 in May of 2026, up 9.4% year over year. Year-to-date asking prices have been running north of $600,000. Demand is concentrated in Triomphe Estates, Forest Heights, Dance Row Meadows, and Place Chaleureux, newer homes, bigger lots, family-oriented streets. Now here's a nuance almost nobody is talking about, and it matters if you're buying new. In June of 2026, the average sale price for new construction in Beaumont came in around $463,000, down from about $558,000 the year before. The median dropped from roughly $573,000 to $460,000. Prices didn't crash, the product changed. Builders shifted towards smaller, entry-level, and mid-market homes because that's where the buyers are. Those homes are still moving in about 51 days. So if you assume Beaumont was out of reach at 580 average, I'd check the new build inventory. There is a real entry point there now. That's the purchase price. Now let's talk about what it costs you every single month after that. Start with the Alberta baseline, because if you're moving from another province, this is the part that changes your life. No provincial sales tax, 5% GST only, and no healthcare premiums. Property taxes. For 2026, Leduc Council approved a 3.8% tax increase alongside a $40.1 million capital budget. Beaumont approved a 4.79% tax revenue increase. In plain terms, the owner of a $500,000 home pays about $165 more per year, about $13.73 a month than in 2025. Utilities went up about $15.46 a month. For comparison, Edmonton approved a 6.9% increase for the same year. So yes, taxes are climbing in both cities, but they're climbing slower than in Edmonton, and you're getting newer infrastructure for it. Speaking of which, the biggest line item in both budgets right now is schools. Because these cities sit next to each other, families can cross between them for schooling fairly easily. Here's how it's structured. Public education across both is Black Gold School Division, serving roughly 30 schools and more than 10,500 students across the region. Catholic education is St. Thomas Aquinas Roman Catholic Schools, Star Catholic, and there's Francophone schooling through Conseil Scolaire Centre Nord. Leduc got a major win recently. Opaho Secondary School opened in September of 2024, a brand new modern high school. Beaumont's distinguishing feature is language. It's an officially bilingual city, so French immersion is genuinely woven into the school system. École J.E.Lapointe, École Beaumeadow, École Quatre Saisons. If you want your kids graduating bilingual, Beaumont is one of the strongest options in the entire Edmonton region. Now the honest part, about 25% of Beaumont's residents are under 15 years old, and École Secondaire Beaumont Composite, the city's only non-francophone high school, was projected to run past 126% capacity by September of 2026. The good news arrived in March. Alberta's 2026 budget funded a brand new public high school for Beaumont E, grades 10 to 12, capacity of 1,010 students, expandable to 1,610 newer, on a nearly 14-acre site already secured in the Azure Lakeview area. Leduc also received planning funding for a future school. So the crunch is real today. The fix is funded and coming. Now let's get to the fun part. If you have kids in sports, this region punches way above its weight. The Leduc Recreation Center is 309,000 square feet, 3 NHL sized ice surfaces, an aquatic center, a field house, an indoor track, a curling club, the Leduc Arts Foundry, and the Boys and Girls Club, all under one roof. Beyond that, Leduc has around 80 kilometers of trails and pathways, 60 parks, and 40 playgrounds. And then there's Telford Lake, which is honestly Leduc's best feature. Roughly 8 kilometers of paved trails circling the water, one of the biggest boardwalks in the region, viewing platforms where pelicans come in close. Dragon boat racing in summer, ice racing and skating in winter, kayaks and the Leduc Boat Club in between. Beaumont's answer is the Beaumont Sport and Recreation Center. What longtime residents still call the Ken Nickel, it was expanded and modernized into a genuine multiplex. An NHL-sized arena, an indoor turf field house, a hardcourt gymnasium, the aquatic center with slides, a 2-lane running track, and the Arch Climbing Center. The 2026 budget also funds a new sports field in Rousseau beside École Carsaison and a new multi-use trail along 50th Street connecting the Le Rave neighborhood into the existing trail network. 2 cities, 2 full-size rec complexes, and residents use both. Day-to-day shopping in Leduc runs through Leduc Common, more than 50 stores anchored by a Walmart supercenter. But the region's real draw is the premium outlet collection at the airport. 428,000 square feet, around 100 brands, Western Canada's largest outlet center, about 10 minutes from Leduc. Beaumont's charm is completely different and, for a lot of buyers, more compelling. Centerville, downtown Beaumont, is home to over 170 small businesses on a genuinely walkable main street. The painted door gift and gallery showcases work from over 40 local artists. Montelay Village handles the everyday essentials, including a no frills. Culture-wise, Leduc has the McLeod Center for the Performing Arts, a 450-seat theater that regularly sells out, plus the Leduc Heritage Grain Elevator Museum. And the events calendar is stacked. The Leduc Black Gold Pro Rodeo ran May 28th to 31st, parade, midway, trade fair, the whole thing. The Leduc Farmers Market runs Thursdays and Saturdays from mid-May to late September. Beaumont Days took over Centerville in late May. And the Beaumont Music Festival, formerly Blues and Roots and Canada's longest-running 100% Canadian music festival, ran June 19th and 20th at the Betas Fairgrounds. Now for the part everyone from out of province is nervous about. Both cities share the same humid continental climate, bordering on subarctic. Let me be straight with you. Winter is real. January averages sit around -6 for a high and -16 for a low. Cold snaps below -30 happen most years, and the record books show lows in the mid-40s. You will plug your car in. You will own a real parka. This is not Calgary. Chinooks are rare here. But here's what nobody puts in the brochure. Summer is spectacular. July averages sit around 23 degrees with regular pushes past 30, and in late June you get roughly 17 hours of daylight. Sunsets after 10 at night. Patios, lake trails, and backyard evenings that stretch forever. Edmonton is also one of the sunniest metro areas in the country year-round. 6 brutal weeks. A genuinely incredible summer. That's the trade. And it's not the only trade-off you should know about. All right? Here's what I'd tell you if you were sitting across from me at my kitchen table. 1, growth has a cost. Beaumont grew almost 28% in 5 years. Residents will tell you there are traffic backups now on 50th Street that simply didn't exist a few years ago. Roads, water lines, and rec centers are all playing catch-up. 2, school capacity is tight right now. The new Beaumont High School is funded, but it isn't built yet. If you're moving with a teenager this fall, ask about actual current utilization before you write an offer. 3, Beaumont has no hospital. There's a community health center, and the city is working with Covenant Health on a feasibility study for a wellness hub. But for emergency care, you're going to Leduc Community Hospital, which has 70 beds and a 24/7 emergency department, or into Edmonton. 4, the apartment condo market is soft. Region-wide, apartment condo prices have been down around 9% year over year. If you're buying a condo here, buy it to live in. Don't buy it as a 2-year appreciation play. $5, you need a car. Transit works for a commuter. It does not work for hockey practice, groceries, and a dentist appointment in the same afternoon. And 60s, Beaumont costs more. $140,000 plus average gap versus Leduc is not a rounding error. You need to know exactly what you're paying that premium for. So let's answer that. Here's my honest breakdown after years of doing this. Choose Leduc if you want the strongest dollar for dollar value in the region. If you or your spouse works at the airport, in Nisku, or in energy services. If you're a first-time buyer and you need an entry point under $200,000. If you want 3 NHL rinks, 80 kilometers of trails, and a lake loop out your front door. If you want a hospital in your own city, choose Beaumont. If you want your kids graduating bilingual, that's the single biggest reason people pay the premium. If you want a walkable downtown with independent shops instead of a big box strip. If you want newer, larger homes on bigger lots. If you're commuting to South or Southeast Edmonton, where the Millwoods and Valley Line connection works in your favor. And if you're honestly torn, look at Beaumont's new construction inventory. That's where the two markets are closest right now, and most buyers have no idea. That's living in Leduc and Beaumont in 2026. The growth, the commute, the jobs, real prices, schools, recreation, the weather, and the honest downsides. If you're relocating to this region or moving within it, call, text, or email us. The Haupt Phaneuf real estate team at eXp Realty. We're here day or night to help you buy or sell. 2 favors: drop a comment telling me which one you're leaning toward, Leduc or Beaumont, because I read every one of them. And hit subscribe and the bell so you catch the next one. I'll see you next time.